and apply for a to do school bus driving. And then I thought, well, why the hell would I do that? We don't have our kids are.
I can't drive it.
Where they're safe, they're doing good. But it's like, God, we could do long haul, and then ain't nobody gonna mess with us.
By the grace of God, we're gonna make it, though, man. Because we've been doing it.
Out on the streets now.
4 years.
4 years.
Well, off and on, longer than that.
We've left every freaking parking lot out for a car until we graduated. We're getting this. I had a nice BMW. It was working.
So what got you on the street? What you got in?
CPS.
CPS.
We were doing really well.
And fucked up landlords and kids that have mental disabilities that wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and take each other's hair out. And they have those problems.
And then the neighbors at Regency Park Apartments go, oh, we can't do this. So it was a mutual move out.
Right. Yep.
And then living in Ferndale, we had a nice house out in Ferndale, $2,200 a month. Barely making it. But we had it, we were doing well, and then something happened with our Social Security money or something, so we weren't able to pay. So now we have bad credit with them for like 20-some grand.
Well, wait a minute.
They're saying, or it's
David Archer and his wife were in the middle of a divorce, and we didn't know this.
Right.
He split and went to Mexico. He told us, well, from now on I want you to take and put, because I've never dealt with his wife, always him. Put this, go downtown for a deal, and here's an account number, put the money in the account.
After we'd been paying with money orders.
So, we were doing this, and then all of a sudden, we got an eviction notice on our door.
We got the ribbon with sweet potatoes.
Dang.
So I'm sitting here thinking, well, what's going on? And he says, well, you guys haven't been paying rent. I said, hold on.
Right.
We have all this receipts that we've been depositing money into. And the mortgage hasn't been paid. He's been keeping the money and take it as soon as it hits the account, pulling it out.
Thank you. There you guys go. Enjoy.
Thank you.
That wasn't our problem.
You got salt?
Yeah, it was.
Of course you can get salt.
Oh, weird salt. Health freak salt.
Yeah, it's just weird because like a lot of people are living on the edge where it's like if only 1 or 2 emergencies happen, you're suddenly fucked, right? So, but that's increasingly, I think it's happening more and more because I've even noticed because I've even noticed like the standard of living in general has gone down a little bit in like the last 8 or 10 years, and I don't see it getting any better because we're not fixing the problems. It's just staying the same while the rest of the world moves forward.
Rent in this town is ridiculous anyway.
It is.
When I lived in Iowa, I had a 3-bedroom house with all utilities paid, and it cost me $250 a month.
The majority of the people that live in this town is college people.
And mommy and daddy paid their rent.
Exactly. Here's a credit card. Everything's going to be paid for. Of course, they're going to choose those people first.
Right.
Yeah, but they're the most troublemakers. They're the biggest troublemakers, and
It really doesn't make a difference. If there's a high turnover, they got somebody else in mind that has a credit card too. They go to college. Sucks. It's not good. It sucks,
But that's the thing that pisses me off is how easy it is to solve the problem. You just build a bunch of housing, and then you do it at a non-profit rent price of just to maintain it, and then you just say anyone who needs a place to stay, here you go. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why there's like such a resistance to that.
You just said it. Nobody's gonna make any fucking money.
Yeah, that's true.
Why isn't homelessness solved? Too many people are making money off of it.
yeah.
And it's not just private people or private companies or non-profits. Law enforcement's making a fucking killing.
They are.
Right.
And the more towns they can get to build new jails, the more towns they can get to pass laws against panhandling and sitting in public or...
You get a ticket. You get a $150 ticket for standing. Like we were downtown ministering to some guy by the jail, He was tempted to go jump. He was going to go jump off a bridge. He said, "I'm glad you people were here because I was contemplating going to jump off a bridge because I was going to go home to see my mama." And we stopped him from jumping off a bridge right by the jail. Well, okay, you can't stand on a street corner. You can't, conversate on a corner because it's considered loitering.
No, let's correct that. You can't stand on the corner or on a sidewalk unless you have a house in Burlington.
Or a suit.
Right. The suit thing is really. I don't have a suit. I think suits are shit. I like to I dress for comfort or lots of pockets so I can store shit while I'm walking without a purse.
They didn't give us any napkins.
Wow.
There are no napkins in this restaurant.
Oh well.
They blame that on the homeless too. They blame that on the homeless too.
Ma'am, can you get some napkins?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Yeah, there's.
Or are they extra?
They're probably extra. And who was I talking to?
There you go.
Thank you. I was talking to somebody. I can't remember who it was, and I'm like, I went online and I was telling him, I'm going to be, I'll do whatever I can, to do this to help people, and they were like, they said something. Was it? Maybe it was Betty and Jim from Bread and Wine. Excuse me, Bread and Wine Fellowship.
I know them.
They did
Jim.
Brittany did the big clothing thing.
Right.
And I'm like, if Bread and Wine would even do something.
Right.
I mean, they did it for Brittany.
Right.
But churches are just not.
It's the religion part. I don't know.
We used to go to church all the time.
Tasting, you guys.
Good. Now that we have
Thank you.
napkins to
Can we
work
get more than that one napkin a piece?
More napkins. Excellent. Anything else I can get for you right now?
No.
I think we're good. Thank you. But it's like we went to Christ the King, and
Yeah, I'll sell you a soul for $29.95.
No, $19.95.
$19.95.
What?
I'll sell you a soul for $19.95. That came out of the lead pastor's mouth.
There you go.
Thank you.
Happy Grant.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll sell you a soul
We
for
met with them
$19.95.
trying to get them to help us, letting us build a tiny home on their land. And I was like, wow.
You want to know what's really good? I'd like to take your financial literacy, your class. Okay, well, all of their classes cost money.
Right.
Scholarships available? Yeah, but you know what? In order to get
Teaching
this,
that shit for it anyway.
if you want a scholarship, you have to take this financial class to make sure that we know you can afford. Since when do I have to pay to take a class at a church?
Right.
I don't understand.
Well, I think honestly, it's in recent years people have been not really going to church. It's not really like people are leaving. I think people are leaving religion in general gradually, and so they're probably just coming up with ways to cover their budget.
No, actually, it's it's kind of like farms. All the mom and pop farms are disappearing.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Just like
All the mom and pop churches
are going corporate.
are like Christ the King. All these big box churches now.
Right.
We went to Cornwall too, and Cornwall was willing to help, but
Why can't you park in the church parking lot? Damn, how much might steal the church?
There's only one day of the week where it's a hot parking situation.
well, and we're church attendees. I think that what they're afraid of is people seeing that happens, and then
And then
they
getting
can
like
be there.
25 people piling in.
Exactly.
And then everybody all the homeless from America will come there.
Well, maybe you'll have attendees.
But they don't have any money.
But
Build it, they'll come.
But the church could seriously just say, we'll allow 4 or something to that effect. You know? But they
So
don't.
why can't homes now get a building and do like they do with like the Lydia Place and the Agape House, the drop-in center?
Because we won't go long to get on.
Because when we were talking to various city council members, some of them were nice, some of them weren't. But what I mean by not nice is like you can tell if they're trying to help you, or you can tell if they're not.
I know.
And so when we were talking to Lilliquist, he was really he's literally like a politician, I guess that's how I would put it. And so what he told us was, he said, look, we want this to work
Is he that dirty?
because what we were trying to do, but what we were trying to, I'll tell you this example. So what we were trying to do was, there was a house on James Street that was empty and abandoned that the city owned. And the reason why is because the city bought it because they didn't know whether they were going to widen the lane or not. And they ended up not doing it. So you had this house just sitting there, and it had a lot of land on it too. It was like an acre or so. And so we could have put some tiny homes out there, and then as well as to house people in the house. So we were trying to go to the city council saying, can you let us do this? And we're not asking for any money. We just want to house people. And then we talked to a few of them, and when we got to Lilliquist, he's like, look, I want this to work. So the way that it's going to work is we want the city to write you a check, and then we want you to write it back to us. And I'm like, why? That's not very efficient, because we don't want any of your money. We just want to use this cobwebbed abandoned house to house people, because you're not using it for anything. And it's like, so he wanted us to be kind of like involved in a system where we needed funding from the
Like
city.
a paper trail.
Yeah. Like,
Then if we did that, then they get to choose who goes in there.
yeah. And so basically we were trying to get this house, and he said that, but then later he said, I'll check and see what the status is of the house. It turns out they sold just the house, not the land, just the house to the neighbor. So they're going to tear it off its foundation, crane it over to the next property, so that owner will have 2 houses, and then the land is unusable after that, because unless someone builds another house on it, because it's single residential, so you're not allowed to use it for anything else. So it's
And you couldn't build a tiny home on it.
It's right. So now it's like useless when it's an empty piece of land. It's just like it's just ridiculous. But I guarantee you that happens in millions of scenarios throughout the country, like where that's why you have this problem. You know.
Am I the only one that got a messy?
Mine's messy. Guacamole, bacon, mess.
I mean, mine's falling apart. I think I'm just gonna end up having to eat it. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, that and what was it? I can't remember. We listened to the scanner, and we were listening to it the day that not James Street, but Lakeway across from the Fred Meyer, that those people were doing something in the old folks trailer park that's over there, where the guy barricaded himself or whatever it was, and they said, they thought it was a drug deal, and there was a ticket, or they got fined for having poisonous materials or something in it.
Right.
So it's for people 55 and older. One, why are there poisonous materials in it? And they're like, because of family members. You're not supposed to have anybody there that's under the age of 55. I mean, yeah, you can have them there for a certain amount of time, but how are these old people? How is that okay?
They're old,
I couldn't believe it.
I'm
And they're
very
still out
cynical
there.
when it comes to anything government does.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people are under the misunderstanding, like they think our government is. And I'm not against the concept of government. I just think ours is rotten and corrupt. I just want it to work for the people, but I don't think it does. But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people think that our government is trying to help, but they're just incompetent. And I'm like, no, they're working. It's working exactly as intended, and it's not to help the people. You know,
It's not.
yeah.
Follow the money.
But what if they take the money and make it equal for everybody?
Right.
Equal for
Hey,
everybody.
so take some good over here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Can I get any refills on anything?
I'm good to go.
Any more fries?
I'm good. I'm full.
I'll grab this
Thank
on your
you.
way then.
Good. Anna's calling.
Alright, just flag me down if you need anything.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll take a take-home box.
To go box?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I already emptied it.
Hello.
2 of those?
What's going on?
I mean, I think I can get my burger.
What's up? What time is the food bank tomorrow?
12:30 to 3, I think.
12:33.
I think. The Bellingham one?
Yeah. Bellingham one? Yes.
I think it's 12:30 to 3. I think.
We're at Red Robin right now.
I don't know. I can Google it.
Pardon me?
Is it big enough for you guys?